Got you. Um, I'm ready when you are.
Cool. Okay. Damn. Okay. So, okay, I'm gonna just mute for a bit and then I'll bring you in. All right.
Take your time.
Mm-hmm. Hello, I'm Abir Hussein. This is for my anthropology class. I'll be interviewing one of the artists. They go by the name Feng. So I'm gonna unmute. All right, Feng, you there?
I'm here.
Okay. So they go by the name Feng. I will not disclose their real life information, their real life name. But Feng is an artist. Where are you from, Feng?
I'm from Maryland.
Maryland. Okay, that's awesome.
Hmm.
So I'll be asking you a couple of quick questions, and just take your time with it. If you don't understand the question, I'll do my best to explain it to you. Sound good?
That's perfectly fine. Hmm.
Awesome. So, which industry best describes your current field of work? Healthcare, government, business, corporate, environmental services, social services, education, technology, or other. If it is other, please specify.
I personally think it will be other, and if I need to specify, I will say, um, hmm, that's an actually tricky one. I guess it will say like entertainment,
Entertainment.
hmm
Awesome. Okay.
because art can be in any sorts of entertainment.
Okay. Next question is easy. How many years of experience do you have in your current industry since you're a freelancer?
Oh, um, I'm 23. I will have to say around 15, 16 years.
16 years? So 16 years, right?
Yep, yep, yep.
Okay, awesome. So, what level of education do you believe is typically required for entry level positions in your field? High school diploma, associate's degree, bachelor's degree, master's degree, doctoral degree, or specialized certification?
Do you mind repeating me the question, please?
Right. What level of education do you believe is typically required for entry level positions in your field? So, high school diploma, associate's degree, bachelor's degree, master's degree, doctoral degree, or specialized certification.
Honestly, I don't think it needs a degree, but if I had to pick one, I'll say high school diploma at least.
Okay.
Because in certain high schools, they do target your interests, such as like art, fashion, science, etc. So I would say at least get a high school diploma. And then if you want to branch out to get your bachelor's or associates, um, then it may help improve a little bit more. But I would say just high school, like, a high school bachelor's or whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm. Right. Next question. Which of the following soft skills do you consider most crucial for success in your industry? Communication, adaptability, problem solving, teamwork, leadership, or time management?
Am I only allowed to choose one?
It's up to you. You can choose either or. It really doesn't matter. But which one do you think
Honestly,
is more crucial?
most important, I'll say time management
Okay.
because in my lane of field, you need to have time to, yes, you need like time to, so you can do the process, but also have the time to think, have time for yourself, and also pace yourself. So I'll say
Mm-hmm.
time management,
Okay.
but I'll also have to say communication because communication also helps in that line of field. So you can either get your assignment done or help. It also helps with inspiration of any kind of sort of way. So I
Mm-hmm.
always have to say, you know, time management, communication, and if you are planning on working in a group with this type of field, I'll say teamwork also helps because more than one mind will help you branch out faster.
Okay. Sounds awesome. Next one. How often do you engage professionals with from diverse cultural backgrounds in your work? Daily, weekly, monthly, rarely, or never?
I'll have to say monthly.
Monthly. Okay. You're doing good so far. You're doing great.
Thank
Next.
you.
hmm Which of the following best describes the pace of technological change in your industry? Rapid and constant, steady and predictable, slow but noticeable, minimal or no change.
I'll have to say slow but noticeable.
Slow
It's
but
best to
noticeable.
take your time because if you work slowly,
hmm
people will see your improvement and also see how much time you're taking to have that set improvement. Because it's best you don't rush. Because the faster you rush, and the more that you work fast, people won't see the improvement or won't see the change in your art style or whatever you're working on. So I would say slowly but noticeable.
Awesome. Next is how important is ongoing professional development in your field? Extremely important, very important, moderately important, slightly important, or not important at all.
I'll have to say extremely important because even though art is like a little fun thing people can do, but it can also lead into something more professional like animation, comic design, um, illustration, anytime like anything that can branch out to not just like in your local area, it can also branch out around the world if you're lucky enough or you know. So I would have to say it's extremely important.
Okay. Uh, so let's see. In your opinion, which of the following will have the biggest impact on your industry in the next 5 years? Artificial intelligence and automation, climate change and sustainability concerns, changing demographics and diversity, global economic shifts, political and regulatory changes, or public health concerns. But I think
I'll
as
have
an artist, we both know the answer to that.
Yeah, we know the answer to that, but I will also say I will have to say the first one in my opinion
Mm-hmm.
because honestly, when it comes to being in my field, yes, your art can like talk about a lot of things, but it's mostly about your intelligence as well because when it comes to art, you don't just it's not just like drawing lines. You have to do a lot of mapping, a lot of like architecture. You have to do a lot of construction, shapes, angles, color, and also you have to look around in your environment because basically everything has a shape, everything has a color, everything has something that's mapped out a certain way. And you have to have that knowledge and the intelligence to have that to put that even on a piece of paper. So that would be the number one answer I would say.
Okay. So this is the next set of questions. These are easy. You just it's like standard scale. You say strongly disagree, disagree, neutral, agree, it's strongly agree. So you could just say take your time with it. All right.
Thank you. All right.
So anthropological skills. So things like critical thinking, communication, qualitative research, cultural analysis. Those kinds of skills are valuable in your industry.
Yes,
So which one do you agree? So strongly
I agree.
disagree. You agree? Okay.
I strongly agree.
Oh, you strongly agree. Okay, okay, okay.
I
Awesome.
strongly agree
Mm-hmm.
because in that field, there's a lot of things like characters, landscapes, literally anything that will come to mind. It could either get, even though it could be for yourself, but it could also lead to like a culture. It could also lead to politics. It could lead to a lot of things. So I strongly agree.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Next one. My industry actively seeks employees with diverse academic backgrounds, including anthropology.
Mind you elaborating that one for me?
Elaborating, I guess you can say. Let's just say it this way in first person with that industry. Your field in art seeks people with diverse academic backgrounds, which includes anthropology.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, as an artist, do do you seek other art professional artists with different academic backgrounds? In a way, I guess it's a better way of
I
saying it.
can say somewhat because honestly, you can sometimes staying in your like staying in your own comfort zone helps, but Sometimes I will say somewhat because sometimes branching out to people with different, backgrounds and point of views of things also helps. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I say somewhat.
Awesome. Next one. Critical thinking is more important than technical skills for. Wait, sorry. What was? What'd you say for two? Did you strongly agree or agree?
I agree.
Oh, you agree. Okay, okay, okay. Cool, cool. So next question. Critical thinking is more important than technical skills for success in my field.
I strongly agree
Okay.
because you have to do a lot of critical thinking when it comes to this type of field. Because, like I said, art can be branched into multiple things and not just being on a piece of paper. It could be literally, it could be animated. It could be in a comic book strip. It could be like panels or literally anything. So critical thinking is like I strongly agree that critical thinking is like a little is main priority in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay. Now, next question. You're doing good. Six more questions after this. Technological advancements are significantly changing the way we work in my industry.
I strongly agree.
Strongly agree. Okay. Next question. Cross cultural communication skills are essential for success in my current role.
I agree.
Okay. Six. My industry places a high value on ethical decision making and cultural sensitivity. So, in a way, I guess it's saying, in your field of art, do you place a high value on ethical decision making and cultural sensitivity above anything else?
I will have to say agree
Agree.
because it depends. It depends. But if you are trying to branch out a lot, then I would have to say strongly agree because culture sensitivity is very important.
Okay. Awesome. Now, seven. Interdisciplinary collaboration is crucial for addressing challenges in my field.
Strongly agree.
Strongly agree. Okay. The ability to adapt rapid changes is more important now than it was 5 years ago in my industry.
Strongly agree
Okay, last question.
because
Oh, sorry, continue.
art is changing almost every single day.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, 5 years and then it wasn't as complex, but now there's like so many new features and new things to improve your art or to make it different in a way. So I would say I strongly agree.
Okay, last question. Formal credentials, such as diplomas, certifications, or specific degrees, are less important than practical experience in my field.
I strongly agree because even before I got my diploma and got my degree and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
I was doing art and I was already getting recognition from my talent before I even started like focusing it on as my main thing. So it's more of the potential, the talent, and like I said, like the internal intelligence. I would say internal intelligence because yes, you learn how to draw, but drawing also brings something out of you.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to strongly agree on that. That it doesn't matter about your diploma. It's literally just the talent you have.
Okay. Feng, can you briefly describe how you got into uh the art?
Either how I brief like a brief description of how I got into art in general.
Mm-hmm. Just art in general, like business of interest.
So when I was young, I saw my mom doing art, so I thought it was like a little fun thing to do, and it was a way for me to express myself.
Mm-hmm.
And once I got the hang of it and started doing my own thing, self teaching myself how to do what I wanted to do, then I noticed when I got to high school that people were making money off of their talent. So I wanted to try something like that. And then when it started to work out for me, I turned it into my not just a hobby, but something I want to make as a career.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Oh, okay. That's a nice answer.
Thank you.
Uh, briefly describe barriers you face getting into this work, like hardships.
The hardships,
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to say time management because art does take a lot of mental and emotional stress because like I said, it's a lot of mapping, it's a lot of thinking, and you have to deal with time, then you have to deal with communication, and some people can be very hard to work with, so it can mess up with your emotional. So I would say those are like one of the hardships because it can cause drainage, burnout, stress, and maybe some like mental complications sometimes.
Okay. Uh, Briefly describe what facilitated you getting into this work. Like, in other words, are there any experience, lessons, or process that helped you get here?
Um, I would have to say, um, it's more of, I guess, everything has a specific, but everything has a specific point of view, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
What I mean by that is that um, when it comes to art and when it comes to me personally, if I'm not inspired, I won't make anything. So when I look around and don't just like think of the negative stuff about it, I just like, that looks nice. That would be a pretty color. That would be, and just think of a positive way about things. It will make things work out, especially when you're trying to have a creative thought process when it comes to this type of like career.
You're right.
hmm
Okay. Last question. What are some of the top skills you could recommend learning in this work?
I will have to say, well, honestly, I think the main thing I would say you have to learn is your strength, if that makes sense. Because when it comes to art, some people are light-handed or heavy-handed, and you're like basically learning that will help you learn how to like basically like if you're heavy-handed, then you have to learn to do some light-handed strokes because sometimes you can't really grind through the paper too much or your screen too much. And people who are line-handed sometimes have to learn to be a little heavy so they can have that pen pressure. So I have to say, like, take the time to learn, learn your strength, learn your hand movement, your wrist movements, or what you can handle. So it will be a lot easier for you to, start doing art.
So, like, just practice hand to do handling strokes. Is that
Yeah,
what you're
practice handling.
Okay. And I think that's all the questions. Thank you so much, Feng.
No problem. I hope you get an A.
Yeah. I'm gonna stop the recording
Thank
here.
you.
Mm-hmm.